Living from the Heart, the Artistry of Living. I'm Suzy Vance, and I'm here with Bryant Dabney. Bryant.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Nice October day, almost like a summer day out here. But
it is amazing.
So we're blessed.
Amazing.
We're blessed.
Yes, we are. But this is the last day of bubbles.
Well,
no more ice cream.
Yeah, it's I go there. I only get one thing. It's the strawberry shortcake.
Oh, well, I go there and I only get one thing, latte da.
It is the strawberry shortcake, and I just refuse to try anything else. It's awesome, so that's what I do.
So you must like strawberries.
Yes, very much so.
So
Strawberry
what else do you
cheesecake
like?
and everything like that. So it's strawberry is number one.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great. So, Bryant, you are now working at Harbor Trust.
That is correct.
You're a financial advisor.
Yes, wealth advisor.
Wealth advisor.
And
advisor.
I do have to say, I've been in many positions throughout my life here.
I know you're also on the city council.
That is correct. That is correct.
Michigan City.
Michigan City City Council. But the job over here at Harbor Trust, it's a great bunch of people. I'm really happy there. I wish I would have done this a long time ago. So, I guess I'm growing up now. This is when you're growing up, this is the job. So.
And what makes you so happy?
Like I said, there's a great team.
Mm-hmm.
When you came in, everybody welcomed me with open arms, and I've just been happy. I can go to anybody in the building and ask a question, and if they don't have the answer, they'll point me to the person that does. So I really love it there.
That's
really
great. That's great. Have you always been in finance?
The degree, finance degree. I got into banking right out of college, and then I went to Purdue University North Central, now Purdue Northwest, and I took a position, financial aid. I still thought that was business with finances and everything like that, but it was you're getting the money together for people to attend college.
Right.
So it really wasn't finance like banking or anything like that, but I stayed in that position for 12 years. I became the director of financial aid there. And then I went on to be the director of admissions at Ivy Tech. So I was in education for 20 years.
Oh my goodness.
20 years.
That's a long time.
And then I went back and got an MBA and decided to go back into the business world. So that's how I ended up where I'm at today.
That is amazing.
Yes.
So what do you like best about what you're doing?
You get a chance to create these relationships with people. That's really what it's all about. There are financial advisors and wealth advisors all over the place, but you really distinguish yourself by making these relationships with people. Their family, they know you, and you just provide the best service out there.
And then there's no issue.
Then there's no issue. I'll go with that. There's no issue.
Except trust and support.
Trust and support.
Maybe miracles happen.
Trust and support is the big thing. But like I said, it's really about creating those relationships with the people that you're helping out. They begin to rely on you, to trust you, and you have that back and forth relationship with people. And that's really what distinguishes us at Harbor Trust, is that what we really focus on there. Our decisions have to be in the best interest of the clients, fiduciaries as we are called.
Right.
And that's what we have to do. And I love doing it.
Well, it's very interesting because I've known the people at Harbor Trust for quite a while. And I remember, Stephanie, she went there when she was pretty young, relatively. And I remember her telling me she was working with older clients and she would go over and help them clean their house. I mean, she did, or move, or
it's a lot.
Whatever.
It is a lot, but
like single women who were, their husbands died, they needed something.
It is a labor of love. You really have to love what you're doing to be able to deal with people, and like I said, create those relationships. It takes time to build trust with people. So.
It does. It does. And it helps when the person that walks through your door is so energetic and so positive and like a rock. because it's the rock we're all looking for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's the rock in the middle of the
I
stream.
like that. I've never heard that saying like that. The rock.
Yes, you're in the middle of the river of life. We all like our boulders.
Yeah. Yeah. Something solid.
Yes, something solid.
Build a foundation.
Something we know we can count on.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships are very important.
Yes.
So how did you get into all of this? Did you think you were going to be doing this when you were a kid?
No idea. Going through elementary school, my mom worked for a doctor here in town for 46 years. And I always told myself I was going to be a doctor. That's what I wanted to do. Sometimes after school, I would go to her job. She worked in the Warren building right here on Franklin Street. And I would go there and stay there until she got off work. So I was around that atmosphere. And I really wanted to be a doctor. But once I got into college, things changed. And I think
What changed?
we have talked about this before. I was a child diabetic
Yes.
from the age of 9. And I had just started to see all of the negative things that I would hear about diabetics. And I really thought I would never live past the age of 30. And yes, now here I am, 55 years old, but so when I went in,
Being a trusted rock.
yes, being a trusted rock. But when I went into college, I started to just think, and I let these thoughts into my head. And I just thought, I really need to start getting out into the world, making some money, doing some other things. And I changed my major after 2.5 years of pre-med over at the University of Notre Dame. And I went to business. And that was the driving force of me changing my major. It wasn't like overly difficult.
Right.
I was prepared. Michigan City, Elston High School, Red Devils. Prepared me well, for the education I got at University of Notre Dame. So changed the major, ended up in business, and then, followed that path to where I am today. So,
Awesome. It's amazing.
yeah.
It's just wonderful. Any interesting people along the way that you care to remember?
Oh, yeah.
That you knew that were very influential in your life?
Well, it starts my sisters.
Yeah.
We'll start there. When I went into kindergarten, I could read, like fully take a book out and read.
Wow.
And I attribute that to my mom, who read books to me, the Disney books that come in the mail there. She read me those every night before bed. And then one day she turns around and hands me the book, tells me I'm going to read to her. And I was just stunned for that. But I started to pick up the books and try to read and start reading to her. This is when my older sisters came in. And we had a chalkboard where they would make me get up, spell words, and do all these different things on the chalkboard, and math problems, the whole 9.
Oh, my goodness.
So I began to read even before I was in kindergarten. So when I got to Eastport School, went to my first class there, it was interesting to come into the classroom and see these big blocks of letters and numbers on the wall. I was like, wait, what's going on here? I thought everybody would be at the level I was at. And so that was interesting to go to school and be able to read right away. So I was happy about that. Yeah, and then going through elementary school, the first teacher who really made me believe that I could be, exceptional at something, Miss Bachman.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Miss Connie Bachman. She was the 3rd grade teacher there. And she put me in charge of certain things. Wrangling the kids to come back in for recess and do some other things. So kind of taught me to be a leader at an early age. I never thought of it that way when it was happening, but looking back, she was the first person that I really felt like I could really do something from Miss Bachman. And then moving into the 7th grade.
Saw it in
yeah,
you,
she did. She did. She saw something in me I didn't even see.
Right.
So then going into junior high school, I think I may have told you this before, I had a couple of teachers there who took a real interest in me. One was Miss Hood and Miss Locke. They saw me running for student council when I was in the 7th grade going into my 8th grade year, and also the Honor Society, that thing. And they pulled me out and made me attend Toastmasters. Yes.
This was a club in the school?
It was not in the school. They were holding it over at Queen of All Saints School.
Really?
So it was something extra. But they told my mother, we really need to get him in this program. I went kicking and screaming the whole way. But I learned how to talk to people, learned how to talk to big crowds. I was really comfortable doing that. And the reason that Miss Hood came and grabbed me, I gave a speech, and she pulled me to the side and said that was awful.
Oh, awful.
That was awful. And so she was the one that made me go to Toastmasters there. Paid off, 100 times, 100-fold. But that helped, that push from those teachers. And
Right.
then, so I was really influenced at an early age. And we had a neighborhood center in our neighborhood. And there was a woman there by the name of Judy Pishker. Judy just passed recently. And Cindy Davis, who now works at the North Central Community Action Agency.
Uh-huh.
They were like our mothers away from home. So they kept me in line, when my mom was at work all day working for Dr. Jones here in town. And they were very influential in terms of my upbringing in the neighborhood there. So I remember those people. And the first time I got elected to the city council, we made a speech. We were at the Blue Chip Casino, and I talked about them and how influential they were. So that was, a lot of people contributing and pouring into me over the years. So
You are a blessed man.
yes, very much so.
And I'm sure you're paying back.
Yes, we are. The working with the city council. When I first got onto the city council, the newspaper called me. Well, actually, before the election, they asked me, "Why do you want to be a city councilor?" Simple answer: I believe I can help my city. Dead silence. They wanted me to continue talking while we were on the phone, but I'm just sitting there. That was it. So he's, the guy's on the end of the phone line and he's waiting. It's just a silence. He wanted me to keep going. I said, no, that's it. I believe I can help Michigan City. It was that simple. The first time I ran in 2011, I actually lost. I lost my first election. I needed to come in the top 3. I was in 4th in the vote.
Do you know what that was about?
My name wasn't out there. A lot of people knew me, obviously, from the school system, but I hadn't been in politics or in the community like that. But then I came back and ran in 15, then started on the council in 2016.
And you still are.
Yes, I'm on my 9th year.
That says something.
Yes. So.
You must be delivering.
It's a lot of people don't see the grind that happens in the background. And that's the part that I like, the budget and those type of things that you do, to move the city forward, the making of the laws, the ordinances, and the resolutions and that. And I am, proud to be one of 9 people, that's the council, 9 people who are responsible for making the laws here in Michigan City. So, big
Awesome.
Responsibility.
It is a big responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep us on the straight and narrow.
Well, the public keeps you on the straight and narrow.
That's true, too.
In terms of, it goes both ways. It goes both ways. You're always trying to look out and pass laws that are, going to help the city as a whole. And, I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it.
So tell me, since you've been doing each of the things that you've been doing, if somebody is between a rock and a hard place, or somebody's at the end of high school or the end of college and they can't quite put their finger on it,
right.
Or they lose their job, some kind of, not necessarily upset, but whatever.
Yeah.
You got any advice for them?
You have to reach out to other people. It doesn't matter your education background and things like that. You really have to reach out. There's help out there for you. But when that happens, though, you can really be down on yourself, be depressed and so forth. But there are a lot of resources out there. Our city council people, if we can't help you directly, I'll try to direct you to someone who can. So that is a big thing there. I would tell people, if you're down on your luck, reach out to others and see if you can get help. And then once you make a decision, I'll give the advice, you stay the course.
Okay.
And I say that because of my changing of my major from pre-med into business. If I would have stayed the course, that would have been what I had done. But when you make a decision, you want to work and stay the course. So
unless something else shows up that says,
yeah. And you get lucky. Sometimes you get lucky to end up in another field that you really like.
and sometimes it happens more than once or twice in a lifetime.
That is correct. And to the high school students and that are graduating, I try to tell them, a lot of times when you go off to college, you don't know exactly what you want to do. You take different courses when you get into college or wherever you're going. If you're even doing a trade or something like that, you learn a lot. Then the more information you have, the better decisions you can make down the line.
Yes.
So
I always think that ideas, especially now with people becoming entrepreneurs, much more than working for somebody else
Right,
necessarily, there are these embodied energies, which I call ideas.
yes.
And they come around and they say,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you may say, oh, I don't have time, I'm busy. No.
Yeah.
They'll come around again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then maybe if you don't pick it up, they say,
Yeah.
and
That is
they'll
correct.
find something else.
You know, I've been lucky. I have never had to really go out on my own and do something, be an entrepreneur.
How did you end up doing city council?
I got into city council. I was appointed to the Park and Recreation Board of Directors.
Okay.
Mayor Oberly.
Yeah.
Wow, 2007, 8, some way back then. And so I was with being on the Park and Recreation Board of Directors, I started to see how different things worked around the city and became really interested in it. That was the first step to me wanting to be on our city council. Just learning the inner workings of the city and what the park department did. You know, there's a lot of responsibility out of the park department. And that's what turned me into, you know, wanting to run as a city councilman.
To being a community person.
Yes, yes. And, you know, people will always say you're a politician. And I like to turn that around and say, no, we're public servants.
Yes,
We're
we
public
are.
servants. So, you know, people attach politician, you know, dirty word sometimes, but I like to say public servant. And, you know, we have a bunch of people who are not on our city council who are public servants.
Right, lots of people.
You know, they may coach a little league baseball team, a little league basketball team or something like that.
Or
and
volunteer in their
That's right.
church, or do homeless shelters, or Meals
Yes.
on Wheels, or
So
there's all
yes.
kinds of things.
The community is made up of a bunch of public servants.
Yes,
And,
exactly.
you know, they just don't see them in the paper. They don't get recognized for what they do, but they do some real important work around the city.
Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
It is amazing.
Yes.
So one of the things that I've always thought, if somebody is stuck, is that they should find something that speaks to them and volunteer, because you never know when you're volunteering who you're going to meet.
Exactly. And volunteerism, is that a real word?
Sure.
We'll make it up. If it's not, that's a real word now. I was working at Purdue North Central, and I worked for a guy's name was Jerry Lewis.
Yes.
And he was the director at the time. I was his assistant director of financial aid. And every Thanksgiving and Christmas, he would go and serve food at a homeless shelter over in South Bend. He would drive out of Michigan City, and I went with him, and just to see what was going on. You know, I had my family we were meeting on those holidays, and everything was in line, and there was, you know, I never saw any hard times, so to speak. And he would go to this homeless shelter, and he took me over there a couple years in a row, and you're like, wow, you know, there's another side, to this whole thing. And so that's, you know, when you get into volunteering, helping people out, that was the bright light was shown right there when he took me to those things. And so
keeps you humble.
Yeah, it keeps you humble.
That's right.
Happy I went with him.
That's good. That's good. You could go to the one over here, you know.
Yeah, that is
the
true.
Nest.
The Nest. That's right.
Right.
So, you know, it's been a long road.
And you're not done.
No.
By any means.
Not by any means. So we still have 3.5 years or so left on this council term, and then the new job here, moving forward with that.
Yes.
And it's been a long road to get here. So I'm happy with where I'm at right now.
Well, I'm happy because I'm happy
Oh,
with you.
thank you. I appreciate that. You know, there have been some bumps in the road, and you know some of the
There
things
always are.
that I'll tell you or tell the people about here. Like I told you earlier, I was a child diabetic.
Yes.
9 years old, and I came in about 2002, 2003. Total kidney failure, renal failure. So I was doing dialysis here in town with DaVita, and I was still working full time. After work, I would go down to DaVita, have the dialysis treatments, and you know, so I continued moving forward. And eventually, I had a transplant. I had a kidney and a pancreas transplant. One big surgery all at the same time. I'll never forget the date, November 12th, 2006. It's my second birthday, by the way, and I celebrate it like a birthday.
Good.
And so I had, like I said, a kidney and a pancreas transplant. Now it's going on 18 years now. Well, actually, just over 18 years. Well, no, coming up November 12th will be 18 years. And I was on my deathbed. I was out. Right now, I probably weigh about 175 pounds, give or take, give or take. And I got so sick at one point, I was down to 138 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was skin and bones. But that was post-surgery in the recovery phase. Mm-hmm. And it took me about 6 months, 6.5 months to really get back to working full time and get my strength back. And I'm grateful for that. It was just a second chance at life, because I was really, really, really in deep trouble when I first checked into the hospital when they diagnosed me with total kidney failure. And so now, moving forward, I tell my sisters all the time. My sister's always griping at me about patience.
Doing too much?
No, she tells me to be patient.
Patient?
Be patient. And after that surgery...
You're not patient?
Patience going out the window. And so I want things to happen. I want them to happen quickly.
Yes.
So she's always telling me I need to be patient.
No point in delaying. No
point in delaying. And, I try to live each day now. I'm trying to make the most out of it. And
what else can I do?
Yeah. So we're moving forward, and, it's been a long trek for me, but I'm happy I'm here.
I'm very happy you're here.
Thank you.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever talk to people who are going through things like that?
I did a couple times for HealthLink. A young lady in the community, and I'll mention her name because she's really a community advocate as well. Okay. Her name was Nyla Williams, and she worked over at HealthLink, and she brought me down to speak to people. It was like a diabetes type of a talk, but I talked about obviously more, and I just remember telling the story, and I was just standing there telling it like I'm to you today,
right.
And there were people who were in tears, and I knew that was having an effect on people when I did that. So I never talked about it openly, but now I do.
Good.
If I get the chance, and I actually wrote an article that was in a national publication for IU Medical Center, talking about dealing with the transplant and everything like that. They actually recruited me to talk to others who were going through that surgery, and helping them through and assist. So I did that for a few years there. There's been some turnover with the nurse practitioners and that, so I don't do as much of that do that anymore. But I talked to a lot of people and helped them through that surgery. So, giving back. Once
That's
again,
right.
trying to give back.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all this with us.
All right. When you turn on the microphone, you turn that camera on, I can speak to you. What time is it now? About noon. We could go to about 6 o'clock. So I may have to do a part 2.
Are we forgetting anything?
I have a lot to go. I have a lot to talk about. But these are the highlights and some of the things I just wanted to put out there into the public, and a lot of things they didn't know.
Yes.
When I get out here and just talk about some of the things that I've done, some of the struggles I've been through, and I hope other people could take some inspiration from some of the things that I've done.
There you go. I'm sure they will.
I hope so.
And you'll be back to give us more.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you for your time.
I'm going to hold you to it.
I appreciate it.
Bryant Dabney, where can people get a hold of you if they'd like to?
Where can people get a hold of me? Well, if you go to the website,
yes,
www.emichigancity.com, that lists my telephone number out there that I use for my council number, and also my email is out there as well. So I'll put that out there, and I'm directing people to that website because they can see other things with the city that's happening as well.
Right.
So that'll be a good way to get in touch with me, and we'll move on from there.
Well, you know where to find him. He's quite a guy. Okay, Suzy Vance, Creating from the Heart, the Artistry of Living. If you know somebody else I should interview, please let us know, and see you next time.
Thank you. Go Irish.